Talk some girls volleyball. Big announcement this week, Matt. A very big announcement. 4-time Nick 10 Coach of the Year. Been at Boylan for 9 years. Has done a great job. Developed D1 players. Amanda Carlson is going to Rockford Lutheran, her alma mater. And Amanda, congratulations. Who says you can't go home?
Thank you, Dave. Thank you so much. Yeah, I love that headline. It was perfect.
You know, when you look back on your years at Boylan, it was a great run for you guys. I mean, when I look back on your, 4 times Nick 10 Coach of the Year, you had some really good runs. Even this year when you supposedly had an off year, you guys had a great season. You've developed D1 players, so it had to have been a great experience over at Boylan.
I absolutely loved being at Boylan and coaching there. The administrators, the coaches of the other sports, and then the players. It was a fantastic experience for me. And, for my first time as a head coach, I couldn't have asked for a better place to really cut my teeth.
How tough of a decision is that to leave a program like that? It's not like you were leaving a lower tier program to go back to your alma mater. I mean, that's a dynamite program you've built there. How tough is that to leave a situation like that?
Well, it's really tough. It's incredibly tough. And, over the years, Lutheran has contacted me to come back, and it never seemed like the right time. For some reason this time it did. And, actually making the decision and actually talking to Mr. Heitkamp, the athletic director of Boylan, and making it official, I was really dreading it. Because he's done so much to help me, and Boylan's meant so much to me over the last 9 years. It was a really difficult decision, but I've always known that at some point I would end up back at Lutheran. It was just a given for me. And for whatever reason, this time it just seemed like the right time to make that move.
You notice with a lot of the Crusaders programs over there, they've kind of tried to push it up and upgrade it a little bit. They're in the big Northern West. They've done real well. Did that help a little bit, too, knowing that you're going to be playing in some pretty good volleyball gyms this year?
Well, yeah, the Big Northern in volleyball especially is very strong. From even the teams that are quote unquote at the bottom, they're still very, very competitive with the teams that are at the top. It's a little bit different than what we see in the Nick 10 usually, or at least in the 9 years that I've been there. You've got your top 3 or 4 teams, and then there's quite a bit of disparity between those 4 and maybe the bottom 4. But in the Big Northern, it's not that way. Everybody's competitive, and everybody can beat everybody on any given night, and that's going to be a different challenge. And my assistant Tim DeDonker and I we've talked about that already, and it's an exciting prospect to know that every night we're going to get pushed, and that only makes you better, hopefully by the end of your season.
So you're bringing Tim along with you, Amanda?
Oh, absolutely. Tim and I are a team. We're a team in this whole coaching thing. And I always joke, it was about 3 or 4 years into my time at Boylan, and I had been recovering from an ankle injury, and he just kind of showed up at the gym one day and was like, "Hey, do you need help?" And I said, "Sure." And I always joke, he's never left. And he and I have developed a really, really good coaching chemistry. He knows what I want done with the defense. We have a good rapport with one another. We work together really well, and that's just really hard to find. So, yeah, I pretty much made Tim come with me. I didn't really give him much of a choice.
As you look at the Lutheran program that you're taking over, what do you see as the new coach coming in?
There's a lot there. They've got a junior class that'll be seniors next year. A lot of them are multi-sport athletes, but there are a couple that are specializing in volleyball. I think the key term there is they're athletes and they're competitors. And anytime you're a high school coach, I mean that's what you want to build on. So there's a good solid group there that no doubt will be our leaders next year. And then you've got some nice younger kids, nice younger athletes to fill out the roster. So I'm encouraged. I'm not sure what to expect in terms of their personalities. I don't know them yet. I know a couple of them, but I don't know all of them. But just really the opportunity to get to know some new kids and in a new environment. I'm just really excited.
You know, you look at the success of the Lutheran program. It's been a while since they've won a conference title or won a regional. Is that one thing that Lutheran said to you? Said we kind of like to win a conference and maybe a couple of regionals, maybe a sectional, and go downstate?
Well, I mean, they didn't need to say that. I mean, I think you can look at the success that the other sports, like football and girls and boys basketball and other sports, you know, you look at that success and you know that they want all of their athletics to be at that level. So they didn't have to tell me that's what they wanted. I knew that's what they wanted and what they've been wanting for quite some time. So it was understood.
You know, when you look at that to try to help get them over that hump, what's the one thing you look at and say, you know, this is what I need to come in and do to try to really take this program to the next level?
You know, I just think there are so many athletes, and I think, you know, many of them know how to win. We just have to get them confident enough to win in volleyball and to, you know, compete in volleyball and to believe that, you know what, just because 2 or 3 years ago you were considered too young to win a regional or too young to win conference. You know, now we're juniors and seniors. Now this is our time. This is your time. And I think it's really just about getting them to believe that they can do it and that it is their time and to really just take advantage of that. That's where I'm at right now with, you know, without knowing too much about each kid and what they can do on the floor. I mean, really my focus right now is just trying to put into systems where we're building their confidence and allowing them to believe that, you know, why can't they win the Big Northern? Why can't they win a regional? Why can't they go out and win a sectional?
We're talking to the new Lutheran girls volleyball coach, Amanda Carlson. She comes over from Boylan. You know, you had a lot of great players over at Boylan. Lexi Vargas this year, Nick 10 Player of the Year, going to Illinois State. You've had one play in the national championship, or redshirt in the national championship for Penn State. You have to have drawn some really close relationships with those kids. What did they say to you when they found out you were going back to Lutheran?
You know, they were happy. They were happy for me. It's funny. They're, you know, these kids these days, you know, we don't give them enough credit, I think, for being mature and for understanding that, you know, it's not necessarily me leaving Boylan as a negative. It's me pursuing an opportunity. And when I told each of these, you know, Brianna and Lexi, they're both like, yeah, you know, good luck to you. You know, we're rooting for you. Can we come work your camps? Can we come help in any way?
Sure.
Really, really super supportive, and that means a lot.
You know, how nice is it to have that kind of relationship with those players? It's one thing to have the great players, but to be able to reach out to them when you have an opportunity like this, and for them to want to come back and help, you know, regardless of where you're at.
Oh, you know, that means more than the wins and the losses and, you know, all of the athletic things. Just those relationships, I think, are those are what matters, and those are what carry you through, you know, the years past the high school experiences. It's really cool, and, you know, I feel lucky, you know, just being able to watch them do what they did in high school, and many times watching Brianna and Lexi both, I just kind of sat back and was like, wow, these two are really, really good. And so, you know, it is about the personal relationships, and that's the most important thing. And yeah, I feel really blessed to have that with many of my players, even the ones that have been gone for several years.
How neat was it to see Brianna on the floor of the national championship game with Penn State?
Yeah, well, that was really cool. I went down there for the game, and I mean, her family and I both, you know, I sat next to them, and we were all as nervous for her and for the team as if she was playing. Mm-hmm. And I'm going, oh boy, you know, if Penn State makes it to the same level next year and she's playing, I don't know, I'm going to be a wreck. But it was so cool to see that. I can't even tell you how proud I am of that for her, and how happy I am for her. And, you know, now the challenge for her is she's got to work this off season and work over the summer and really and win that starting setter spot. I know that's what she wants.
You know, we were talking on Facebook, me and you, about a young lady that played for you. It's at the Citadel. She doesn't get the attention the other two kids you just talked about. But, man, what a great young lady she is. I had a chance to talk to her and just discuss about her situation. I'll tell you what, she makes you proud just being at the Citadel and playing well down there, as well as being a nice young lady.
Yeah, that's Issa D'Angelo, and she's a few months away from graduating the Citadel, and I remember when she told me that she was committing, to the Citadel. I thought, what? You know, she had long hair, and she just, to me, was not the military school type. But really, you know, she's matured so much, and that environment has been great for her. When I listened to that interview that you did with her, I mean, it was like listening to a different kid. You know, she's not a kid anymore, really, and you know, it's those stories too. I mean, I know, you know, the Briannas and the Lexis get a lot of attention, but there are so many kids that I've coached that went on to play or that didn't go on to play that are doing wonderful things. I mean, I think I counted. There are a few that have pursued their doctorate. There are a few that are in the nursing field. I mean, there's just a lot of kids are doing some great things, and I'm proud of that. I'm as proud of them for that as I am, you know, the kids like Lexi and Brianna who are going on to play volleyball at a high level.
Before we let you go, I know you got a lot of green clothes at home you're probably going to have to do something with, and now you can get your purple clothes back out. Is there a chance we might see a Lutheran-Boylan matchup scheduled, maybe, you know, kind of snuck in between all the conference games?
I don't know if we can do that. I don't know if that's possible. I know for them, you know, with their conference the way it is, with the Nick 10 the way it is, there's really no room for any non-conference games. Your conference schedule is so big, and you want to get into as many tournaments as you can. And we've got that same situation this season too at Lutheran. So I don't know that we'll see that. I don't know if I want to see that. I think that would be too hard.
Well, thanks so much, Amanda, for taking time out and getting up early. We know that you're busy, and we look forward to seeing those Lutheran Crusaders do well this year.
Well, thank you, Dave. Thank you for everything that you do for the prep sports scene. It's really appreciated, and I know the kids love it. So thank you.
Thanks so much, Amanda. We've been talking to Amanda Carlson, the new coach at Rockford Lutheran. Hey, I like her answer, especially when she says, well, I know what they expect of me.
Right.
It wasn't like, oh, you're kidding me.
There's no secrets going in, you know. Everybody's on the same page. They don't have to. It's the unspoken. That's what they want is championships, and I'm sure that's what she wants as well.
Anybody that says a good coach doesn't help out a team, or it's nuts, because a good coach does a lot, don't they?
They do. You know, in like a lot of those girls that have gone on to do things at the college level, they work hard on their own. You know, they play the club games,
Club Fusion,
and that kind of stuff. So it's not all just the coaching, but you know, the high school coach also gets them together and works with them too during the season, and they have that success with the coach. You know, it's not just because they're all good players. They still have to get used to playing with each other if they didn't play together club and all that kind of stuff. Yeah, and I've enjoyed working with Amanda over the last few years. We're going to take a time out. We'll wrap up the Stateline Sports Hour in just a moment right here on News Talk 1440 WROK.
Hey, this is Greg Saunders, your host for the Saturday